I've never been west of the Kansas state line. I've stayed home all my life and I've worked all the time.
Hi everyone, and welcome to I Thought You Might Like. It's me again, Zoe. I have Poncho over there. I don't know if y'all can see him. He's resting, taking a little nap. And I also am wearing, I think, a different colored shirt today. Wow. And having iced coffee. I really need to mix that. Oh well. Okay, I also just realized that some people might not be actually seeing me. They might just be listening to me. So it's probably funny for me to be like, "Oh, I'm wearing a different shirt today," or "I have a drink," or whatever. But I think it's fun, anyways, to start off like that. But let's get into it. Okay, so today I think that y'all would like the TV show Somebody Somewhere. Just to do a brief overview of what the show is about before I get into why I think y'all would like it. Here's from the Wikipedia page. So, Somebody Somewhere is an American comedy drama television series starring Bridget Everett and created by Hannah Boss and Paul Thurine. It premiered on HBO in January 2022. In February 2022, the series was also renewed again. It's in its second season right now. I actually just finished watching it yesterday, so it is fresh on my brain. The premise of the show is that it's set in Manhattan, Kansas, and the series follows Sam as she deals with a midlife crisis after the death of her sister. It's a pretty simple premise. So I think I originally heard about this show on Pop Culture Happy Hour. I think I've talked about that before. Really great podcast. I've actually gotten a lot of suggestions through that podcast. Pretty sure Somebody Somewhere was one of them. Also, I had seen Bridget Everett. Let me just quickly pull up her Wikipedia page. She's hilarious. Oh, she's actually originally from Manhattan, Kansas. I think she's super funny. I think the first time that and she has an amazing voice too. On Somebody Somewhere, like she's a singer, her character's a singer. She has an amazing voice. I think that the first time I actually seen her in something was Fun Mom Dinner, which is I'm not talking about that show, but it is like a really fun movie. If anybody like wanted to watch, just like a really fun little thing. Okay, I'm gonna go with that is what I had seen her in first. Anyways, let's get into the show. So that's what the show is about. Now I'm trying on my podcast to not and YouTube channel to not ramble as much. So I'm trying to pick one main thing as to why I really love whatever show I'm trying to recommend you all. So, I just finished season 2, and I'm going to try my best not to do too many spoilers. But I think that the reason why I love the show, which is why I think that you would all like it as well, is that maybe two things. Maybe I'll have to do two things. One, I absolutely love how normal the show feels. And I mean that in the best possible way. I feel like sometimes television, the point of television is to show, I think, interesting stories, right? And sometimes those stories are of places that will never be. For example, what comes to mind is like the TV show Succession. Like I will never be like that, but it's really interesting to kind of step into that world. And while I will absolutely never have the same lived experience as this show, as Sam does in somebody somewhere, I think that the characters feel so normal and real and lived in, and they look like real everyday people. Like they look like my friends. They're not these like glamorous sort of movie stars types. And I think that I'm not saying that that's like a bad thing in television. And I mean all of my friends I think are very beautiful, but I think that there's something about like watching this show and just seeing like real normal looking people and elevating their stories on by seeing it on like HBO or like a streaming platform or on TV. I think there's something really beautiful about that. I'm really fascinated by quote unquote mundane things. I think there's real beauty in small stories about not necessarily grand things. Like within the mundane, I find grandeur, at least in my opinion. And so this show really encapsulates that for me. All of the actors are incredible. They all look like people I would have like interacted with in real life. And again, I'm not saying like none of them are like ugly or anything like that. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying that they look like normal people, and I find that so refreshing. I also like how Bridget Everett, who's like stars in the show, she's fat, and I don't think fat is a bad word at all to use as a character or as a description of somebody. She's a fat, amazing, beautiful actress, and I really loved that the show that's just like that's just it's like saying she has brown hair. In this case, she has blonde hair, but it's just like an attribute of her, and it's not some like focal point. Like she's not trying to lose weight. She actually embraces her body. I loved. I can't say the word because it's a swear word, but there's like the C word. It gets used a lot in like a later part of season 2, and it's just an amazing like funny moment between like Sam and her sister. And I just love how Sam, as a character, like embraces her body as a bigger woman, as a fat woman, and that it's not like, oh, she's trying to lose weight or she can't get a guy because blah. Like it's just like that's like not even. That's not even what the show doesn't even touch on that. It's so refreshing. I find that it's maybe odd that that's like maybe I don't think it should be like such a refreshing thing, but it is, and I really appreciated that aspect of the show where like everyone is just yeah, and the story is, while very specific, within the specificity of storytelling, I find, and not just me, I think a lot of people can find universality within the specificity of a story. And so in this one, Sam is dealing with being in her, midlife, and her sister passed away, and that happens in season 1. That's like how the show starts, from cancer, and she's just trying to like deal with her life. And she also meets Joel, who's played by Jeff Hiller. uh, and that is going to dovetail into what I love most about the show. I think what I love the most is Sam and Joel's relationship. They have a beautifully platonic friendship that is just so rich and lovely. And while Sam is dealing, actually, they're both dealing with grief in different ways. But while they're both dealing with their grief, which I find very real, like you can be sad one moment and then just make like a funny joke the next and just like laugh and be like lighthearted. And I love how the grief and the humor and the and everything within the show is just weaved so beautifully together, and something that feels like just so authentic. I don't know if that word is like trite now and like overused, but it really does feel like how I would imagine grief to be like. I think grief, of course, can be a very sad and difficult thing to deal with, and everyone has to deal with grief in a multitude, a myriad of ways. But it was so nice to see just not like utter sadness, how there was a lot of lightness. It says in the description on the Wikipedia page, right, it's a comedy drama. And to me, sometimes when I've seen things that are like called comedy, I'm like, where's the comedy? Where is it? This show, oh my gosh, laughed so much watching it. Highly recommend it. Just in terms of just pure laugh. Like Bridget Everett, again, is hilarious. All of the characters are just funny in their own ways. All of the characters feel very lived in. And as somebody who's having to deal with like elder care and having my grandparents um really needing a lot more help, there is a through line of like Sam's character having to help her mother. I found that very like I could really relate to that. And all of the like humor mixed in with the sadness, and how humor can really help people move through grief. So I guess I'm saying like 3 things because I haven't even gotten into the main part, y'all. The main part that I love about this show so much, like I said, is Joel and Sam's friendship. I had a conversation with one of my close friends. Shout out to Joy. And she was talking to me about how she wishes that TV shows sort of could maybe focus on platonic love. And I hadn't really thought about that too much until she sort of talked to me about it. And I agree. I think that platonic love is just as beautiful as romantic love is. And I I know that I have a bias probably because I just finished watching the show last night with my family and like definitely cried because it was beautiful. But I think this has got to be one of the best examples of just like pure platonic friendship, like later in life platonic friendship that I think I've seen that's like maybe across genders, like Joel and Bridget. It's not like your best like girlfriend or whatever. It's like a best friend who's the opposite gender. And Joel's character is queer, he's gay. And they really deal with like real stuff of like, well, what happens if like one of them finds a partner and how that changed the relationship. And I really loved like how they whoever wrote or not whoever the two people who like created and wrote this show like obviously did it with a lot of care and what it would probably actually feel like for this type of friendship and those types of not roadblocks but like how to move through these different changing feelings and just like how friendship can change and grow and be more deep and beautiful. So I really, really loved their friendship. They're so hilarious. They're so like weird, but in the best way, like how you would like how I am with like my really close friends, like just ridiculous and goofy and each and like I'm more like Joel. Like I tell all my friends, I don't care what gender they are. I will tell them I love them. I don't think it's weird. Joel is like very in his feelings. And Sam's character is very much not. She has a really hard time admitting that she loves Joel, even though she definitely does. Um, and so I love that sort of dynamic. I think their friendship is just so precious, and it's just so fun to watch. I love their relationship and watching it on screen, and just like the mundane stuff. Like they'll do like who have like they'll like challenge each other to do steps. They'll like have teeny like martini time and just gossip. They'll like ride on their bikes while they're like slightly inebriated to like go get ice cream. They'll like take a walk together and like but like Sam has to like pee on the side of the road. Like I just all of those things that again they feel really mundane and maybe like not worth showing on screen. Like I can see other shows being like that's not the heart of it, but to me like that's the heart of life, right? Like friendship and love and connection in any way that it comes. And I love seeing all of those moments. So I think that y'all would love this show if you're at all interested in perhaps more grounded storytelling that focuses heavily on characters and relationships and the ways in which we can move through grief with some levity. I think that y'all would like this show if you're interested in mundane things and in smallness, in not grand stories, not whimsical, fantastical other places, but the beauty of the here and the now, in Manhattan, Kansas, of all places, and how there can be like beauty and love anywhere we go, and that you can find it anywhere. So yeah, I loved the show a lot. I think you will all love it too. And yeah, thank you so much for listening to another episode of I Thought You Might Like. Feel free to leave comments, like, and subscribe. Let me know what you think about this show. If you have any other recommendations for me, I'm always open to consuming more stories and learning more about the world out there through television and media and books and podcasts and what have you. So, hope you all have a great rest of your day or evening or whatever. Hope you're doing okay. And yeah, thank you so much again for tuning in. See you next time.
I'm a rover at heart and made up my mind to see what's out west of the Kansas state line.